Once upon a time, in the vibrant kingdom of Iye, nestled amidst lush greenery and rolling hills, the villagers gathered at the royal palace for an age-old tradition. Every moonlit evening, young and old alike assembled to hear tales of their ancestors, especially stories of the forbidden forest, a place shrouded in mystery and fear. Presiding over these tales was Baba Agba, the oldest and wisest man in the village, who doubled as the native doctor and oracle. On this fateful day, the villagers sat on intricately woven mats in the palace courtyard as Baba Agba spun his tale of the forest's ancient course. The forbidden forest, Baba Agba began, his voice a mixture of authority and mystique, is not just a place of trees and shadows. It is where the spirits of betrayal and vengeance dwell. Any who enter risk the wrath of those who once broke the sacred bonds of trust. When Baba Agba concluded, the king rose from his ornate throne. "Does anyone have a question?" he asked, his deep voice echoing through the courtyard. From among the crowd, Lade stood, her beauty captivating everyone. With a radiant smile, she asked, "Baba Agba, if the forest is so dangerous, why do the spirits allow anyone to live alive after entering?" She added a playful gesture, mimicking a spirit's walk, which sent the entire village into laughter. Even the stern-faced king chuckled, but as the laughter died, his gaze lingered on Lade. That night, the king found no sleep. Lade's beauty and wit haunted his thoughts, and he resolved to make her his queen. The next morning, the king summoned his chief advisor Otun to discuss his intentions. But Otun's heart sank. He too had long harbored unspoken feelings for Lade. Nevertheless, Otun concealed his emotions and congratulated the king, though jealousy began to brew deep within him. Meanwhile, Lade was troubled. She had a lover, Owo, but their relationship was shaky. Owo had grown distant, leaving her to wonder if he truly loved her. One evening, she learned the devastating truth. Oyo was secretly married, and his wife had just given birth. Heartbroken and humiliated, Lade ended the relationship. As weeks passed, the king's persistence won Lade's heart. His kindness and sincerity were a stark contrast to Owo's betrayal. Soon, preparations for their wedding filled the air, and the villagers celebrated the union of their beloved. But not everyone shared the village's joy. Lade. Otun, consumed by bitterness, conspired with the queen, the chief warrior Balogun, and one of the king's trusted guards. They devised a sinister plan to eliminate Lade before the wedding. On the morning of her wedding, Lade's lifeless body was found in her hut, a silent testament to the treachery of those who envied her. The joyous village was plunged into mourning. The king, devastated, sought solace in Lade's grieving mother. In their tearful conversation, the mother revealed an ancient family rite. If a bride-to-be died a virgin before her wedding, her spirit would bring mass death upon her lineage. To prevent this curse, the king decided on a desperate and forbidden act. He would consummate the union with Lade's corpse. Under the cover of night, the king approached Lade's lifeless body. But as he performed the act, Otun burst into the room, having secretly followed him. Horrified, Otun saw an opportunity to disgrace the king. He spread the story throughout the village, turning whispers into an uproar. Summoning an emergency meeting in the palace, the king stood before the villagers, his voice heavy with shame and sorrow. "What I did was not born of desire, but of duty. I sought to save our lineage from a curse. But what I must know is this: who took Lade's life?" Caught off guard, Otun's guilt began to surface. Under the piercing gaze of Baba Agbo, he crumbled, tears streaming down his face. Otun confessed, "I killed Lade. I have always hated you, my king, for being better than me in everything since childhood. And Lade was my first love. When she chose you without hesitation, it broke me. I could not bear it. I plotted with the queen, Balogun, and your guard to end her life. The villagers gasped in disbelief as Otun knelt before the king, his face buried in his hands. Baba Agba rose, his staff thudding against the ground. The spirits of the forbidden forest have whispered to me, those who betray trust shall face the forest's wrath. The king nodded, his voice steady but laced with sorrow. Otun, the queen, Balogun, and the guard will be banished to the forbidden forest. Let the spirits decide their fate. The guilty were dragged away as the villagers watched in silence. Days later, the king and Baba Agba led a ceremony to honor Lade's memory. Her spirit, they believed, now watched over the village, a reminder of the consequences of envy and betrayal. The forbidden forest, once a distant tale, became a vivid reality for the villagers. They learned to cherish trust and kindness, for in the heart of Iye, even the smallest betrayal could awaken ancient curses. And so, the tale of Lade and the forbidden forest lived on, passed down through generations,